tuned for that. And yeah, talking a lot of local sports as well. You want to keep it tuned in here to 96.5 The Cave. So let's get the show started.
Now for an Inside the Cave sports update.
And as I mentioned, Michigan's bubble is burst. They can't hit the clutch shot down the stretch. Clinton has a date in the state wrestling finals with a win over New Lothrop yesterday, 55-9. State finals at Kalamazoo Wing Center on Saturday. Clinton is in the D4. They're defending state champion. Boys Prep basketball regional semis. Ypsilanti Arbor Prep 52 to Gabriel Richard Catholic 40. Arbor Prep will play Madison tonight in the regional finals. Blissfield, they lost to Romulus Summit 53-41. Allen Park, Intercity Baptist 53 to Summerfield's 51. Ann Arbor Huron 56. Dexter 33. Hanover Horton 69. Michigan Center 38. Madison and Lenawee Christian, they did battle in regional semifinal action at Erie Mason on Tuesday night. We'll hear from John Kane in just a moment. And it turns out that moment is now. John Kane was there. He has this report.
The Lenawee Christian Cougars had no answer for Madison's Rovan Roberts in their Division III regional semifinal game at Erie Mason Tuesday night. Roberts scored 34 points, 21 in the first half, igniting the Trojans to a 65-58 victory. Even with Roberts' efforts, Madison took only a 44-41 lead into the fourth quarter. Free throws then made the difference as Madison hit 20 of 24 for the game. The Trojans will now face Arbor Prep in the regional championship game on Thursday night at 7 p.m. in a game you can hear on 96.5 The Cave and 965thecave.com. In addition to Roberts' 34, Austin Burciaga had 10 for Madison. Tyler Bennett faced Lenawee Christian with 18. Elliot Edelman had 16, and Gavin Sluss chipped in 10. Final score once again, it was Madison 65, Lenawee Christian 58. From Erie Mason, I'm John Kane reporting.
And again, that final 65-58 for Madison. Adrian College Baseball, they are coming into the D3Baseball.com Week 6 rankings. They're at number 24, 1 week after getting knocked out. The Bulldogs finished the recent week with a 5-0 record, with a win over Albion at 18-8 and 4 wins over Trine. The Bulldogs dropped out of the top 25 last week after a 3-game losing streak to Spalding, Kalamazoo, and Calvin. Adrian, since then, they've won 5 straight. They're 10-5 overall, 4-0 in the conference. Gunnar Rainey and the offense had an outstanding week, with Rainey being named MIAA Position Player of the Week. Gunnar loves this lineup the Bulldogs put on the field every day. We'll hear from him right now.
The talent's definitely there. We have top to bottom, everybody's high-end guy as long as you're talking about talent. The biggest thing with winning, you can't get complacent. You always got to bring your A game because you're going to get everybody's best punch every day. They're not going to come back after they lose and kind of kick another game, because everybody wants to beat the top dog every now and then. They just want to prove themselves time and time after again. So we're going to come back, and once we get league starts, we're going to come back with a fire going. We'll get it lit, and we're going to go.
And again, that was Gunnar Rainey. The Bulldog offense went for 65 total runs during the week to spark a 5-game winning streak. The MIAA, they released their Spring Sport Athletes of the Week from the previous week. The Bulldogs locked up 4. Gunnar Rainey picking up Baseball Position Player of the Week. Destiny Rogers with Softball Position Player of the Week. Joe Quigley with Men's Tennis Athlete of the Week. And Peyton Gashi with a Men's Lacrosse Offensive Athlete of the Week. After what amounted to a bye week, Siena Heights football team, they get back at it this Saturday. The SHU Marion game was canceled due to COVID concerns. Coach Matt Cohn talks about losing out on playing Marion.
We initially postponed the game, did everything we could to try and get the game moved to a Sunday or a Monday, and unfortunately things just didn't work out. And maybe under different circumstances we could have kicked the game back, perhaps to later in midweek or another week. But there were some other variables that came into play. With the Easter holiday, and then with the NAIA selection committee making their selections here in 2 weeks for the postseason. It was just a big domino effect with working a date where we could get the game in, and ultimately the tough decision was made just to cancel the game. That decision came on Monday, so we're going to control what we can control and move on to the next week and the next opponent.
That was SHU football coach Matt Cohn. You can hear the Saints against St. Francis Saturday at 1 right here on the Cave. Taylor Randolph is the very first girls state wrestling champion from Clinton High School. WLEN Sports had a conversation with her recently. She said taking runner-up a year ago drove her to take the top spot this season.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff outside of the wrestling room, behind the scenes. I ran, I worked out more. I mentally and physically got better in shape. Most of it was probably mentally, just being focused and driven. Losing in the state finals takes a toll on you. So that definitely was just constantly in the back of my head, constantly thinking about it, wanting to do it different, wanting to win in the state finals this year. And that for me just really just pushed me with everything I did.
State champion Taylor Randolph will hear from her dad tomorrow. Johnny Juzang poured in 28 points while playing most of the second half on an injured ankle. UCLA survived a series of misses by top-seeded Michigan in the closing seconds to hold on for a 51-49 win that made the Bruins the fifth number 11 seed ever to reach the Final Four. The game ended when Michigan forward Franz Wagner missed an open look from 3 at the buzzer, the last in a series of misses that would have allowed the Wolverines to escape. The Florida Panthers defeated the Detroit Red Wings 4-1. The Wings, they've now lost 6 in a row on the road. That's going to wrap things up for this look at our sports update. We will do it again at 8 o'clock. Thank you.
Nicely done.
Yeah. I almost forgot about that. I almost forgot about that button.
There you go.
Real glad it's there. So we'll have Chuck do that again at 8 o'clock. So we'll get that back for you. Good to get updates from Coach Cohn, and big time congrats to Taylor Randolph getting that state championship.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Not yet sanctioned by the MHSAA, but should be down the road here pretty soon. So keeping things rolling. So I think we have to start the show the responsible way. And I think it'd be unfair to not start with Michigan.
Yeah. Tough day.
Look, if you didn't stay up,
Man.
if you didn't stay up to watch it,
You didn't
we
miss
got
much.
you covered. You didn't miss a lot of scoring.
That's for sure. That
Yeah.
was it was painful to watch.
51-49. Look, okay, if you remember a couple weeks ago, Michigan State lost to the same team
Yeah.
in the play-in game. And I flipped my lid because Michigan State should have beat them.
Mm-hmm.
BYU probably should have beat them, but they were kind of overrated at a 6 seed.
Yeah.
Alabama definitely should have beat this
Definitely
team.
should have beat him.
Michigan should have beat this team.
Oh, yeah.
That being said, it's not a disappointment that you lost. You made it to the Elite Eight. I said if you lost in the Sweet 16, the season would be considered a failure, all things considered. But you were in the Elite Eight. You were unranked to start the year. No one thought anything of you. They thought you'd finish like 6th or 7th in the Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
You were the last one standing. So, like, were you the better team on paper? Yes. Do you have better players than UCLA? Yes. Can you feel bad about losing in the Elite Eight? No. Because that's March.
Yeah.
That's just how it when you're at this point, that's how it happens. Now, if you would have lost in the round of 32, it'd be a different story.
Right.
But great season for Michigan. You only feel bad because it was right there.
Yeah.
You know, you
So
were a
close.
couple wins away
Yep.
from doing something that people didn't expect you to do, except you in the building.
I know. I was the only one picked Michigan. It was a tough night. I saw it the first half. I mean, they looked good for the first. They actually didn't look good at all the whole game. They just had a lead for a little bit at the beginning of the game. But then after that, the turnovers killed them. 14 turnovers in the entire game to UCLA's 8. Free throws, couldn't make any. I mean, 54%. This is, you're not going to win games if you're only going to hit 6 of 11 free throws. That's 5 free throws you should have hit. Even if you missed one, still,
It was like
4
Alabama.
points. Yeah, it really was. I mean, I don't know what it is about this UCLA team. The first 4 to Final Four team. So I mean, they earned it. They played every single game extremely tough. Only one real blowout win, but 2 overtime games, and then knock off Michigan here in the Elite Eight to advance to the Final Four. So, props to them, but man, tough way. It's not a bad way to end the season, but it is a tough way when you think about how far you came. So, but only thing is their upside for Michigan. There is a lot of upside in this team, a lot of potential. You hope to see most of them coming back. I can't think of, Dickinson definitely should be back. I don't see there's any way he would be gone. So yeah, I mean, a disappointing loss last night, but hey, not the end of the road for this team, and Juwan Howard has a bright future ahead, that's for sure, with this team.
Without a doubt. And it looks like we have a phone call coming in. Someone wants to talk Michigan, I think. So let's get him on the line. Good morning, caller. You're on Inside the Cave. What's going on?
What's going on, gentlemen?
How
How we doing?
Well, I tell you what, man, I stayed up to watch that game, and I turned that sucker off like 2 minutes ago. Well, at this point in the season, it's all about rhythm, and it's all about rhythm, man. When the team gets in the rhythm, it's hard to get stop them. And when they beat Alabama, I figured Michigan would have been a better matchup with UCLA, but man, I tell you what, it was a tough one last night. But it's I guess what you said, Ian, it's the way to go out, in the Elite Eight. So I guess we'll see what happens on Sunday or Saturday and Monday.
That's right. Dickinson played pretty well. He gave you 11, only 2 rebounds, but it was depth scoring for Michigan. But I mean, UCLA played the game they wanted to. I mean, Michigan doesn't want to play a 51-49 game. I don't think anyone does, except UCLA.
Right.
So.
And you saw it. The whole game they struggled to find baskets. And they never really got in the rhythm. And like I said, when that last couple minutes when they only scored 3 points or 4 points or whatever, you kind of got the feeling that this was it.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Well, like I said, man, it was a good season. That's how the ball rolls in March. It's not called March Madness for a reason.
That's right.
So,
Absolutely. Yep. Well.
You guys have a good day, and we'll see what happens next weekend, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds good. Hey, I appreciate the call. Have yourself a great day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Bye. Yeah. I mean, what are your thoughts? Did you stay up and watch the game? 517-265-4000. What are your thoughts on Michigan? Do you feel the same way we do in that you probably should have won, but how upset are you that Michigan lost? Now, I get it. UCLA, all things considered, should not have been an 11 seed.
No, they had 4 losses right at the end of the season to lead into Selection Sunday, and that I think caused the committee to kind of go the way they did. But yeah, no, you can watch them any day of the week. I feel like, and they're not an 11 seed at all, anywhere close to that. So for them to come in and be an 11 seed, have to play through Michigan State, who I think an 11 seed was actually appropriate for, given all things considered. When you average out the Michigan State team we had all season, it was about 11 seed. When they're at their best, probably a 3, but when they're at their worst, not even close to making the tournament. So average it out, give them an 11, make them play in, and they play this UCLA team, have a lead on them, go to overtime, and all of a sudden, I mean, UCLA is a scrappy team. They know that they're not the best players, and they find a way to kind of win and lock you down, slow the game down, slow the tempo down. As you said, I mean, no one wants to play a 51-49 game. No one. I mean, guys want to score. Every guy on the team wants to have a double-double. They want to be passing the ball, throwing it around, swinging the around the hoop, and yeah, it just wasn't the Michigan team you expect. But I don't think I can be, as a Michigan fan, and you can't be too disappointed because it's been such a great season so far. And like you said, I mean, if they lose in the round of 32, even in the Sweet 16, maybe then we're like, oh, well, not as fulfilling as we thought it could be. But they made it this far on a team that wasn't even supposed to win. It wasn't even supposed to be close, to being 23-5 on the season. So
That's right. We're getting another call in at 265-4000. Good morning, caller. Talking Michigan hoops. What's on your mind?
Good morning. Couple things. One, I'm dragging tail this morning because I stayed up and watched, and I thought Michigan didn't have any kind of rhythm, as well as I did not think Michigan took any opportunities when it came to open threes. Any kind of outside shot was there. They kept on trying to pound it down low. Dickerson was hot and cold. But yes, I believe Michigan has a bright future. Looking forward to next year. Go Blue.
Yeah, didn't it seem like they were going to Mike Smith to kind of shoot the long ball?
Yeah, actually, Wagner never shot until the end there, with less than 10 seconds for to win. Prior to that, I don't think he shot a three-pointer all night.
Yeah, well, it was tough, and like Chuck said, and the other caller said, that Michigan never got in a rhythm, and that's exactly what UCLA wanted. It was, they just somehow they played into that type of game.
Right, which is not what Michigan does. So it was an off night. It is what it is. That's why we play one game, and anybody can win. But no, go Blue. We're looking forward to next year.
That's
All
right.
right.
Hey, and I'm dragging tail right along with you, so we'll struggle through this Wednesday.
Yes, we will.
All right.
have a good one.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate the call.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, we'll keep the Michigan calls coming in throughout the show. If you just want to poke your head in and talk U of M basketball, 517-265-4000. You can also send us a message on Facebook, Twitter, and you can send us an email to sports@965thecave.com. So yes, tough loss for Michigan, but you made the Elite Eight. It's a lot more than any other Big Ten team can say.
9 teams go in, no teams make the Final Four. Tough.
Yes. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with more Inside the Cave. We're talking high school basketball recap and a look ahead to the regional finals. That's right. We have a team alive. You're listening to Inside the Cave with yours truly, Ian Wendt and Chuck Moran. We'll be right back.
Cave.
And we welcome you back inside the cave. I'm sure you didn't leave though. Ian Wendt, Chuck Moran with you till 9 o'clock, talking all things local and state sports. A lot of things to get to in the show today. We're going to talk some high school basketball. Hey Clinton, you're state champs. Back-to-back Division IV wrestling state champs for the team. Congratulations to Clinton. We're going to get to my leftovers later on in the show. Things I didn't get to talk about from the weekend. Trivia question for Maple City Auto Wash coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Your chance to win a free car wash and get entered to win unlimited car washes for a year. We're going to talk about what the 49ers trading up to number 3 in the NFL draft means for the Lions. We're going to play the U of M blame game. Who to blame? What to blame for that loss to UCLA. And we're going to talk about our brackets. Hey, I got 2 of the 4 teams in the Final Four. That's something. And we have a special announcement for the Cave in terms of the Final Four and the National Championship. So that's coming up later on in the show. But I do want to start with that high school basketball matchup yesterday, the regional semis for Madison and Lenawee Christian, and sounded like a great game. John was there, John Kane, got to call it, and Madison got the job done. It was an all Lenawee County regional semi, and the Trojans come away with the win, and that's huge. I mean, to just put yourself in that position for a regional title. It's like the NCAA's. Look, man, just get there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything can happen.
That's all it took. I mean, we were talking about March Madness has been unreal this year across all levels. From and then you get to throw in other sports on top of it. Playing in March, it just makes everything madness. It feels like, but it's super exciting, great stuff at the high school hoops level. Really exciting to see, potentially how far they can go. I mean, we were joking about, how far we thought some of these teams were going to go and who's still standing. So for us to kind of see who's still here, it's exciting for us. It's exciting for them, I'm sure, and great stuff coming for them.
Yeah, and you look at the box score for Madison. We had Roberts with a huge game, 34 points. 10 two-point field goals, didn't make it 3, but made plenty of free throws to get those 34 points. You had Burciaga with 11 for the Trojans, and Theriot with 8 points for Madison to get the job done against a good Lenawee Christian team. A program that was really down when you look at the record. From this year to last. They weren't great record-wise, but they came on strong toward the end of the year, came back against Hudson to win the district to get to this point, and it was a really good season for them. They get to the regional, but they come up just short to a really good Madison team who teams gotta respect now. When you're moving on to this point, you're in the regional final for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like in the NCAA level. I mean, it doesn't matter that UCLA is an 11 seed. You made it this far for a reason, so you got to respect them. Got to give them the credit due, and play them as a regional finals. And I'm sure when you're the lower seed, this team that came in probably expected to lose pretty early on, or first or second round. Yeah, it's a little bit easier for you to not worry about the number or your seeding place, because you're just focused on winning each game. Everything before this is just history. Whatever you do in the tournament is up to you, which is a big sentiment that a lot of these teams take with them and try to leave their legacy in this tournament.
For Lenawee Christian, it was Van Etten leading them with 18 points. Edelman with 16, and Sluss with 10 for LCS. It was a final 65-58, so still competitive. Really good game, and best of luck to the Trojans, and a good end to the year for Lenawee Christian to get to that spot and really compete at that level. The other game we had with the local team, it was the Blissfield Royals, and they were going up against a very good opponent in, let me grab my notes, it was Romulus Summit, 53-41. It's a really good team. Talked a lot with John Kane prior to, as we're tracking these teams through their regional and where they would be, and he said, yeah, Romulus Summit, that's a really good club. I think they'd only lost 1 or 2 games all year. Blissfield put up a fight. The LCAA represented well in the tournament as well. So, yeah, it's tough to bow out, but you kind of got a bad draw in the regional semis, you could say, sort of like the girls for Lenawee Christian.
Yeah.
They played Arbor Prep again, one of the favorites to win the championship.
Yep.
So, just, as they say, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I mean, that is where seeding does come into play, and you sometimes think that you might have an easier route, but obviously on the girls' side, they had already played Arbor Prep, just a few weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, and that was a tough loss for them. So they knew they had their hands full when that game came around, and so you get the luck of the draw in some of these cases, and sometimes you just end up with a little bit easier path, or you have to face some of the tougher teams, and if you can beat them, then that builds some confidence. And if you lose to them, I feel like you can't hold your head too low, because they also were expected to win. They were the favorites. So a little bit, you got to be able to look at it both sides with a grain of salt.
So for the boys, the Madison Trojans move on, and for the Cougars and the Royals, they will go home. But we're going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to keep the phone lines open, 265-4000. It was a late night for Wolverine fans and basketball fans watching Michigan play late last night against UCLA. But maybe you stayed up to track what was going on in wrestling. And there's a school on the northern portion of the county that's got the reputation of being the best in the state. That would be Clinton. They won the Division IV state championship for the 2nd straight year. So, if you're a fan out there and you want to call up and talk about the program and talk about the kids that got the job done, we welcome that. 517-265-4000. But Clinton getting home late last night, and they did it again. Just a tradition of excellence for that wrestling program to get things done. They beat New Lothrop 55-9 for the team wrestling championship, and just put it all out there. I mean, they were the best, or one of, wire to wire for the season. You win the state championship last time, and then just keep it going. Just run it back, and just keep winning.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to usually after winning a title of any sort, you kind of have this sense of complacency. And Clinton shows, they've done this for years of kind of, they might not win it every year, but they have this strong group that just continues rolling through. And it's not just a one and done type year. It's a continued thing that they continue to produce great wrestlers and great teams. It's not just one at a time or one family. I mean, it is. I know Jeff was talking about it the other day. I mean, it was like they had 9 first places, 2 seconds, and 3 thirds, and that was like their lowest places on the team were third, and it was like, what do you like? That's crazy to have that much depth as a team. Is incredible. So, great stuff for them, and really impressive to come and do it back to back, especially in a year that's been so uncertain on even if we were going to have wrestling. I mean, if you told us, especially in the state of Michigan, you say 2 months ago that we were going to actually have wrestling, felt like a dream. It didn't feel like that event was even going to happen. So super glad that it did. Super glad that they were able to find a way to make it happen. And Clinton coming away state champs, D4. So exciting stuff for them.
That's right. Of course, taking your calls if you want to talk wrestling or U of M basketball, 517-265-4000. I was trying to look around the area if other area teams got it done. It looks like Dundee got their state championship as well. So
nice.
They're local enough.
Yeah.
We'll give them some airtime.
There you go.
So congratulations to them. But a big kudos to Clinton and Coach Randolph, the parents, the players, the boosters, the people that have supported the team. And look, they've done this. I know it sounds like a broken record in the midst of a pandemic.
No, yeah.
I mean, a positive case, you're pretty much done.
The sport of wrestling, absolutely. I mean, there's no other way that you would take your team down, probably anyone you faced in the last week or two. It just wouldn't have been possible. So the fact that they were able to find a way to do this and, like I said, not have to pull out of anything, they're really impressive. It's a testament to MHSAA for working so hard, and all these teams that were able to compete to, kind of. I think I talked about it yesterday. Actually, no. When was the last time I was on? Sunday. The biggest opponent we had this year in sports wasn't yourself. It wasn't your opponent. It was COVID. All these teams had to, beside practicing, training, getting in shape, getting to weight, you're also worried about, hey, am I testing positive today? Oh, no, I didn't test positive today. Well, was I in contact with anyone today? And then you wake up and it's the same thing every day. And it had to be a toll for these athletes, the coaches, parents, and for them to make it this far. It has to make it just that much sweeter, I'd imagine. In a season that just was so unpredictable.
And it's human nature to be around people.
Yeah.
Especially in high school.
Oh, absolutely. You're asking one of the most social generations in times of anyone's life. Anyone who was in high school, it's even if after high school you're not as social, but high school everyone is. It's just human nature to be around, to want to kind of be in everyone's business, be close to each other, hang out all the time, in and out of school, and you're telling these kids, hey, if you want to compete, well, you can't do what you're used to, and they did it, and they listened, and they followed instructions because they had this goal in sight and in mind. So kudos to them. Obviously, the coaches had to do a lot to make sure everything ran smoothly, but these athletes who really bought into the system and believed in the process that everything was going to work this way, major props to them.
So Clinton, back-to-back state champs. Again, from all of us at the Cave, congratulations. I heard through the grapevine that Hudson Wrestling was knocked out of the tournament through a technicality with some sort of a weight class type issue.
Yeah. Not sure exactly on the story on that side, but it would have been cool to see them meet up in the final, but
yeah,
maybe another year.
That's right. There's always next year, and knowing Clinton, they'll be back.
They'll probably be there. Good chance. Good chance.
We are going to take a quick break. We'll be back with more Inside the Cave. Looking ahead, it's my leftovers, things I couldn't talk about since the weekend. Oh my goodness. We'll get to that in just a moment. Ian Wendt, Chuck Moran, 96.5 The Cave, 965thecave.com.
96.5 The Cave, Lenawee County Sports.
Welcome back inside the cave. 7:44 on Wednesday, March 31st. It's April tomorrow. April Fools. Just throwing that out there. Just be ready for tomorrow. Ian Wendt, Chuck Moran with you till 9 o'clock today, talking all things sports. Coming up next hour, our Maple City Auto Wash trivia question, a chance for you to win a free car wash and get registered for your chance to win a year of unlimited washes from Maple City Auto Wash. We're going to talk about the Lions. What do the 49ers trading up to 3 mean for Detroit at 7? We're going to play the U of M blame game in their loss to UCLA. We're going to talk about the Final Four and review our NCAA brackets. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. But for now, it's my leftovers from the weekend, things I didn't have a chance to talk about because I haven't been on the air this week until right now. So I have 3 leftovers, and of course I welcome Chuck's input and reaction as always. Tough weekend for local college football. Adrian College going to Trine. Chance to win, lose in heartbreaking fashion. They lost their top running back to injury late in the first quarter. He didn't play the rest of the game. Had the lead in the fourth, 23-17. Then they give up the final 13 points to lose 33-23. And, that's one where you feel like you could have won. You feel like you should have won.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out that way. Trine just made bigger plays in the moment than Adrian did. And that was tough. It's tough to go on the road and win in football. It just is. It's the nature of it. But, man, you outgained Trine again. They outgained him in the fall and lost by like 20 points.
Right.
And they do the same thing here, and they look so much better. I mean, the defense played a lot better, and they still lose. Now, you had a missed extra point. You had 2 missed field goals. One was from 47, not really counting that. The other from 37, that's a makeable kick.
Yeah, it is.
So you left 4 points up on the board. The final 6 was a desperation throw that was intercepted and returned for a touchdown on the final play.
Right.
So, man.
Really, I mean, it was a lot closer than what that scoreboard shows.
Yes.
I know we talked on Friday how, they wanted that game, and you expect it's hard to beat a team twice, and let's say it's even harder to beat the team 3 times, but they showed really great grit to get that far. It is a tough way to lose. Absolutely. There's no way about it. Losing is never fun. Losing that way, even more, it's going to leave a sour taste. Until they see him next fall. No way about it. There's no way to be like, oh, well, that was a good game trying.
No.
You're going to say that maybe to save face, but at the same time.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Look, it's a trophy game.
Yeah.
It's a rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They do not like each other.
That's fair. That is true.
They're not saying good game.
The border
Sorry.
brawl trophy.
Yeah.
It is a shame that they were so close, and to lose your top running back right off the start.
It was on a touchdown run too.
Yeah.
He went in, scored, didn't celebrate too much, and then he came to the sideline and he looked like he was
limping
probably
a little bit.
bit. So the converted linebacker, Stephen Moses, I hope he's okay, and I hope he can play the game on Friday.
Hopefully get some information.
Yeah, because they have Olivet at home Friday at 4. That'll actually be here on the Cave. Little programming note. But, man, they need him.
Yeah.
The backup came in and played well. He didn't He didn't play outstanding. He didn't play. He played okay.
Right.
He played okay.
They were missing.
He didn't expect to get that many carries.
Right.
So that's that. Tough loss for AC. And maybe up on that same level, Siena didn't get to play. And
That's tough.
you get that same feeling as you had in the fall. Like, we don't get to play. Like, we're ready, but we didn't get to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a nationally ranked team, a top 10 opponent. We talked to Coach Cohn last week prior to the game,
Mm-hmm.
and he was optimistic. And why wouldn't you be? The way the offense was going, the defense was doing their thing. We thought they had a chance against Marion. And
Yeah.
they don't even get that opportunity.
I know. Now it's just a what if. It's not even oh, this went wrong, so that's why we lost, or, we came out as a win. I mean, there's too much uncertainty now that they're like, what could have been. So they have to wait and, hopefully get a game this week. But that's just as heartbreaking. To lose a game today, they didn't even play. I mean, you can't say you lost it, but it's like you never have the chance to even win it. So, what's the difference? Flip of a coin, how you look at it, I guess. Glass half full, half empty. I mean, that is a tough way to prepare a full week and be in the mindset of going against this top-ranked team. You've had 2 great games against teams that weren't as great, and then come into a chance to kind of redeem yourself after the slow start. I mean, I know they wanted to prove they were better than what they did against Concordia and Indiana Westland. So this was a chance. This was an opportunity for them to show, hey, we still deserve some national recognition. We are a great team. Our defense is better than just about anyone in the country. So, but now it's like, what if? It's only going to hopefully fuel the team and make them hungrier for this coming week.
And here's the other thing, and it's kind of a back burner thought, but like you said, Siena's lost 2 games already. They're not going to play 8 to 10 games this season.
Yeah.
And they've lost an upset. They've been upset already by
Right.
Wesleyan.
Yeah, that was not a game they should have lost.
They needed to play Marion to get that at large, because now, shortened season, you might not win the regular season championship. If you want to play postseason football in the NAIA, you're going to have to get that at large bid, and just losing that game puts another mountain in front of you to try to climb over. But you do have St. Francis, Indiana coming up next. They're 2-1. They're ranked number 11 in the country. Marion, they were ranked 9 last week. They're now 10 because they didn't play. So I guess if you want to look at that as an opportunity,
Right.
yes. But you would have liked to play Marion as well.
I mean, yeah, you would have liked to have them both.
Yeah, just didn't happen. And I have one more for my leftovers, and it's more about last night and a combination of this whole basketball tournament for the men. How much airtime do they need to give Mick Cronin's father? How? We get it. We understand. Like at the end of the game, the broadcast crew is going, and Mick Cronin goes to the Final Four. They actually said that. I'm like, no, UCLA did.
Right.
These kids did.
Yeah.
Some kid put up 28 points
Yeah.
in that game.
Absolutely
And it's
torched.
Mick Cronin going to the Final Four. You can have whatever plan you want. Give credit to the players.
Oh, absolutely. End of the day, that's where you expect the credit to go. I don't think he would want the credit going to him like that, but you don't know. I don't know him like that, but
No, I don't either.
But also, before the game, it wasn't really much of a story on UCLA. I mean, it wasn't anything on their players. It was about the coach and about his family, and I
He
mean,
hasn't seen his dad in over a year. Other people have gone through that as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's
some
kind of
people
the
have
nation.
lost their fathers
yeah,
to the virus.
exactly.
You
I
know,
mean,
I understand it. I'm
It-
not trying to be,
no,